state, the bridge beams that'll, most of the bridge beams on this job are actually surplus from the Pioneer Mountain Eddyville job where we were building bridges and realized that the ground was moving too much, the bridges were going to not stand. So we actually designed these bridges to use those beams. Really put a hurdle on the engineers. You know, it's much easier to design from scratch than design around used material. But we had 130 beams sitting in the yard that we needed to use, so we saved over $2 million, nearly $3 million, I think, as opposed to building new beams. You can see the alignment and how the bridge columns are through here. So this will all be, it's just a foot or two over, a half a mile long.
Right now we're building the long bridge. It's a quarter inch short of half a mile. Yeah, bridge engineers. And we've got piles driven for probably 13 of the 17 vents. And then we're starting to pour the top caps. I would guess 3-4 months from now we'll start on the south end placing beams. Each of the beams are 190 feet long. We've got to do retaining walls, so we go below the airport to get below the flight path. Then we climb up to go over about 5 or 6 county streets and the railroad from SP that comes out, or from the newsprint plants. And so I'm guessing that we'll be placing beams somewhere in the July-August timeframe on the big bridge.
The alignment will come along there, up this embankment, and then starting here is that half-mile long bridge that we talked about. It will go on and it swings around just past the mill and then touches down to the big retaining wall that'll go on down as we approach the airport. So you can see the progression of the pilings and the bridge bents as they go along. They have to dig a hole, they build the foundation around that, or they drive the pile, build the foundation around those pilings, and then pour the concrete. And they're on, I think, bent number 14 now, 13 or 14. And they've just progressively moved along.
We originally projected this cost, construction-wise, to cost 52 million. And when the bids came in, we got it for 45. So the contractors are hungry and they're giving us good prices, and they really wanted this work.
We actually specifically divided this process up so that we could make it appropriate sized for ODOT contractors to be able to do. If we'd have done the whole thing at $200 million, it would have attracted large, maybe international sized firms, wouldn't necessarily have put so much work within ODOT or within Oregon as Oregon contractors. So we specifically broke it up to accommodate that, so that it's sized around that $50 million size, because the universe of contractors that can get bonding for that is large enough within Oregon that we knew we'd get good competition locally. So this whole hillside was sawdust down here. And you can see the bypass, and we've got to cut all of this out because we'll be below grade. The road will be below grade about 15 feet right here. Winooski will fly up and over.
Are you going under or over?
Winooski will go over. The bypass will go under Winooski. So, and then it'll come in parallel to the bypass and then kind of blend into Winooski as it exists at about 11th Street or there a little bit past.
I sign the approval, and then it goes in their financing.
That dip in the distance is where Chehalem Creek crosses. And we won't be able to drive any farther on that way because they've got just too much equipment moving down there, and we just don't want to be down there. crossing back there. This is another local crossing. I'm not sure, quite frankly, what Dundee has decided to do with this piece of 8th that will be vacated in here. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Whether that becomes Edwards and
Colonel vouch to this. If I'm a developer wanting to develop this as housing, I'd want the city to get rid of that sucker.
Well,
Yeah.
but the question becomes, is it Edwards or is it Mr. Lindquist? And there's some arm wrestle there.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, sure there is.
Yeah, when we build the stretch onto Dayton.
Meets that
Yes.
4 lanes?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's why we built that in. So you can see the 4 lane on the other side would eventually, about where that trailer is, would start.
So who do I negotiate with to buy that when you're done with it?
Which piece? Oh,
The
that.
overpass, the whole rest of
There's been a lot of discussion actually about whether we really do it throwaway, and obviously we'd have to revisit the environmental document, but I think Dundee will have a major interest in that not being throwaway.
Yeah, our engineers talking about it would be a great crossover for 99 without having to hit a light or anything
absolutely.
else.
And I think we agree with that, but we'll have to go back through the land use process and all of that, because as
Right
part,
now, yeah, I understand. It's supposed to be torn down theoretically.
Absolutely, that's right. I don't think it's done anywhere in the state. Rob, their city manager, asked the question, and we're going to dig into what that means. I don't know.
Farming the berms?
No, farming the part of the alignment we're not using. So